To replace the air valve bank, the first thing we need to do is power off the chair, then unplug it. Next, we need to remove the foot and calf massager. To do this, we can open the zipper that connects the foot and calf massager to the seat, remove the foam spacer, and then use a flathead screwdriver to pry off the two retaining clips that secure both sides of the calf massager to the mounting points. Okay, then we can slide the calf massager to one side to detach one mounting point and then back in the other direction to detach it. We don't need to disconnect the hose or the connectors. We just need it moved out of the way enough to have access to the two Phillips head screws that secure the side panels on each side. On earlier versions of the chair, the front of the side panel is secured with a single 4mm Allen screw. Once we remove those two screws, we can locate the small zippered pocket that is located just beneath the shoulder massage. Open that zipper and remove the two Phillips head screws and washers inside. Next, we can remove those same screws from the opposite side panel, and those front screws also have washers, so make sure not to lose track of those. Okay, next we need to remove the backrest cover, which is secured by 4 Phillips head screws. Okay, once the screws are removed, we can grasp it at both ends and pop it off the chair. Removing the backrest cover gives us access to the 2 rear screws and washers that secure each side panel. So we can remove those as well using a Phillips head screwdriver. Next, we can slide each side panel slightly forward and pull it out just enough to set it alongside the chair. We don't need to disconnect the hose. Next, we need to remove the upper backrest assembly, but before we can do that, we need to detach the speaker connector and the hose from each side. Once those are disconnected, we can lift the upper backrest up and off of the chair. Okay, now we can finally remove the air valve bank. We can start by disconnecting the 3 hoses. disconnect the two connectors and pay attention to what order they're in. And the black and brown is on top, and the red and black wire is on the bottom position. Okay, then we're ready to use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 4 screws that secure the air valve bank to the chair. Okay, then we can remove the air valve bank from the chair. To install the new air valve bank then, we'll first place it into position and replace those 4 Phillips head screws. When doing this though, you can see that the screws are going into rubber, so make sure not to over tighten them. We want them firmly tightened but not over tightened, otherwise you might split the rubber. Okay, then we can reattach the hoses. And reconnect the connectors. Again, on this left-hand side, the black and brown wires on the top. If you are working on the right-hand side, the wires are reversed so that the red and black is on top. To reinstall the upper backrest assembly, note the horseshoe brackets and the 2 corresponding posts on the chair. This will be on each side. So we need to line up those horseshoe brackets with the posts in order to reinstall this backrest assembly. The best way to approach this is to kind of place the assembly into position and then get down behind it and begin to align those 4 mounting points, starting with the lower 2 mounting points. Those have longer brackets, which make them easier to align. Okay, then we can reconnect the speaker wire and the hose on each side. Now we're ready to reattach the side panels. Before we do so, we need to take note of how this panel attaches. So there's a post and a horseshoe bracket. And then up higher, there's a metal bracket that slides into the little pocket. And then, of course, the lower horizontal frame rests on the chair frame. So lining up all those three mounting points, we can press that panel against this chair frame and slide it backward to secure it. We also want to make sure that USB charging port remains accessible. Next, we can do the same thing to attach the other side panel. And we can start replacing the screws and washers that secure the side panels. Okay, now we're ready to reinstall the calf massager. To do that, we can slide one side onto one of the mounting points, making sure the metal insert does not fall out of the center, and then install the retaining clip with the tongue pointing inward toward the inside of the chair. That makes it easier to align the second mounting point while keeping that metal insert in place. Okay, then we can reinstall that foam spacer and zip the calf massager upholstery to the seat. Okay, returning to the back of the chair, we can replace the rear screws and washers that secure the side panels. Now we're ready to reinstall the backrest cover. Note the two tabs on the bottom of the cover and the corresponding slots on the chair. And note the white plastic balls at the top of the cover and the corresponding sockets on the chair. That's how we'll mount this backrest cover. So to start, we'll slide those tabs on the bottom of the cover into the slots. And then raise the backrest, lining those posts and sockets, and snap them into place. You'll hear them snap when they're secure. And then we'll go back down to the bottom and double check to make sure the tabs didn't come out of the slots when we're done. And we can see that they're in there, so all is well. Okay, then we can replace the 4 screws to secure the cover. Next, we need to zip the top of the backrest pad to the upper backrest assembly. Plug in the chair and power it on. And we're done.